canned peaches or jar peaches are really good, and we're going to be doing that in a turnover today. Now you're probably wondering exactly why we'd be using a canned peach for turnover. Well, there's a lot of scare in the news lately about parasites with some vegetables, not necessarily fruit, but some vegetables, but also can be on fruit too. But if you have the vegetables that are or fruits that are canned, they heat it to a very high heat where it kills any pathogens or parasites. So this is something that you can eat and not worry about. So let's get started. We're going to take our peaches and we are going to go ahead and put them in a saucepan here. And I am actually cutting these a little bit into smaller pieces because we are going to be making mini peach turnovers. So you can cut them into the smaller pieces, or if you want to do like a larger turnover, you can do that. So we're going to just continue cutting these up. Now that these are cut up into smaller pieces, now this is about 2 cans or 2 cups. So whatever you want to use, you can like reduce the recipe if you want to make smaller, or you can increase it if you want to make more. Next, we're going to add a little bit of sugar. We're going to add some brown sugar. This is about a 1/4 cup or 4 tablespoons, whichever you want to do. 1/4 cup of the leftover juice from the peaches. Just go ahead and pour that in. 2 tablespoons of cornstarch. Go ahead and pour that in there. And then we're going to put it on a low heat over the stove. We're going to cook it about 5 minutes, but each stove is different. It all depends on how soft you want the peaches. This has been on for about 5 minutes, so now what we're going to do is put it back on the oven and just increase the heat just a little bit and just keep stirring until it's a thicker consistency. Alright, our peaches are done. As you can see, the cornstarch is in there, and then you want them actually, the peaches, not cooked too much because they're also going to be in the oven too with our puff pastry. So let's go ahead and set this aside and let it cool, and we'll start on the puff pastry. Alright, so now we have our puff pastry dough, and I just got this from the store. Now, you think that this is thin enough, but I can tell you a puff pastry is called a puff pastry for a reason. It will get really thick. So what we're going to do is we're going to actually cut it into squares. And I'm going to use a pizza cutter here. And then, or squares, rectangles, close enough. All right, and what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and we're going to roll those out with a rolling pin because that will be too thick if we just do it that way. So we're just rolling it. We're going to do a square at a time. And then we're just going to turn it and just do the same thing. So hold on to your dough and just roll that across. And we're going to go back again. Okay. There we go. So we've got that thinner because it will definitely get very thick. You'll be surprised. Alrighty. So what we're going to go ahead and do is we're just going to cut that in half. Like that. Let me take this off here. And then we're going to go ahead and get our filling. Alright, so now we're going to go ahead and put our filling in. And if you've watched me with this show before, channel, you know that I love the Nordic Ware. So I have my Nordic Ware cookie sheet right there, ready to go. You want to spray it with the flour pan spray. Now this we're going to go ahead and just make sure to put a decent amount of filling in. Because that's the wonderful thing about turnovers is the wonderful pastry with the fruit filling. So we're going to go ahead and do that. And if it gets too close to the edge, you can just go ahead and scoot that over. Okay, then we're going to do this into a square. So we're going to just go ahead and lightly seal it like that. So lots of fruit. Love that. And then we're going to go ahead and just seal that. Then we're going to go ahead and take a fork and we're going to go along the edges like that. And there we go. We have sealed that up. It has a nice seal on it. So we're going to go ahead and just put that on. And let's go ahead and do that with this one. Just go ahead and do the fork. And then the great thing is you can move it. So which is wonderful. Or you can move that. Okay. We're going to go like that. And just go across. This helps seal it so the fruit doesn't really, hopefully doesn't really pop out right there. So we're going to just go ahead and continue doing that and filling up that pan. Now we're going to go ahead and melt some butter, and we're going to go ahead and just brush that right on the top. Now the reason why we're doing this is to help it get a nice golden color, and also to put some crystal sugar on it. You can put it on the dough itself, but this actually works better with holding the crystal sugar on it. So we're just going to go ahead and just brush that. And then once these are all brushed, we're going to go ahead and put the crystal sugar on. So this is just crystal sugar that I got from the grocery store. And we're just going to go ahead and sprinkle that on. Now this gives it a little bit of a sweeter taste and a little bit of texture. So once we go ahead and put that on, and it's okay if you get it on the rest of the cookie sheet. You can either wipe it or you can clean it afterwards. When you do the Nordic ware pans though, you just use like warm soap and water, let it soak for a little bit, which is really nice. Okay, let's go ahead and pop that in the oven. While the other pan is cooking, I had some spare dough, so I just made these extra ones. It's going to go in a 350 oven. Each oven is different, so you want to monitor it. We're going to start off with 15 minutes and see how it's doing there, because you can always give it more time, but you can't take it away. All right, so here's the finished product. You can see it looks wonderful. And then it has a nice golden bottom there. So, and you can see a little bit of the peach filling there, which is really good. They just came out of the oven, so they're a little warm still. But let me show you what the finished product looks like. All right, so we have the finished product, and look at that. We have the nice pop of actually texture and a little bit of color there from the crystal sugar. And as you can see, it looks wonderful. I hope you get a chance to try this out. It's actually pretty easy to make. I want to thank you very much for watching. And let's make the world a better place. Yum.